Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews today, and here we are with the 2023 Mazda CX-50 Meridian Edition. Now, we already had the CX-50 Turbo Premium Plus on this channel, but now we have the Mazda's kind of off-road version of the CX-50. In this video, I'm going to make sure to show you guys all these really cool features that you're going to be getting with the CX-50 Meridian Edition, and some of the things that you're actually missing out versus some other CX-50 models, and especially how this thing compares to all of the new off-road vehicle or off-road trims coming out in this segment. Let's dive in right now. Okay guys, so here we are with the CX-50 Meridian Edition. This one's coming in around $42,000 as we see it here. And it's finished in Polymetal Gray metallic, and you can only get it in this color or zircon sand metallic. So not too many options with paint. And we're also getting these unique wheels. So we have 18-inch wheels over here, and you're gonna be getting these all-terrain rubber over here. And they do have the peak on it, so it is snow rated, but that's really all you're gonna be getting with the Meridian Edition package. So you're really getting this wheel and tires, and these cool hood graphics, which we're going to take a closer look at right now. So what are you getting with these Meridian Edition upgrades? So the Meridian Edition is an optional package. It's around $2,000 or $3,000 off of the Mazda CX-50 Turbo. Now you can only get the Meridian Edition on the Turbo, and you actually lose out some of the nicer features that you're going to get on the Turbo Premium Plus. Though the Meridian Edition does have its own cool little quirks. So up front, you can see we have these additional garnishes around the headlights over here. So there's a little bit additional of this plastic piece to give it a little more of a body cladding look. This is really purely for style. I don't think this is adding anything in terms of off-road capability, though I will admit it does look really, really cool. Down here, we're going to see a little bit more of an aggressive front bumper area with this kind of silver piece, though there is no underbody cladding, unfortunately, for this Meridian Edition model. Now, up front, you're also going to be getting these hood graphics over here that do say CX-50 Meridian Edition on it, and while they do look cool, their main purpose really is to kind of reduce glare on the hood when you're off-roading, to, I guess, better see the trail and the roads in front of you, though, again, I don't think that's really a necessary thing for an off-road package for a vehicle. The real goodies that you're going to be getting with this package is this wheel and tire option. So Mazda has downgraded the wheels to an 18-inch wheel with this black gloss finish and this kind of like pattern going around it, and you are going to be getting these Falcon Wild Peak all-terrain trail tires as standard on the Meridian Edition model. Very much of a chunkier tire than you'll be getting on any other CX-50, and that's really what you're going to be getting with this package, actually, and that's pretty much it. You're going to get a little bit of some side garnishes on this rocker panel over here, and that's all of the Meridian Edition upgrades. So that's not much, really. And if you want more, you can get the optional Apex package, and all that really adds is going to be some mud flaps in the rear, and you're going to get a really cool kind of hood rack that can have a tent built onto it, and some more aggressive stuff for your crossbars as well to hold more weight. But other than that, there really isn't that many changes you're going to be getting on the Meridian Edition model. Now, of course, guys, we have already reviewed a CX-50 exactly in this color too, though that was a Turbo Premium Plus model. And the Turbo Premium Plus model comes in around just $2,000 or $3,000 more than this Meridian Edition, and I have to say, I would honestly go for that model and buy these tires and wheels myself as an accessory and just throw them on, because you're essentially getting the same thing. And that package is going to give you way more features that this, I think, should have. Now, up front, like I said, we saw those little extra garnishes. We have our LED adaptive lights over here, which are very premium, very nice. Really love this black Mazda grille we've seen on the previous CX-50 as well. Though, what we're lacking on this CX-50 Meridian Edition are front cameras. There's no front camera system up here. There's also no side camera system, so that means you don't get the 360 camera option. I think that would be a really useful feature for an off-road style vehicle, and you can only get that on the Turbo Premium Plus, actually. And even with the ground clearance is pretty much the same as other CX-50 models, so not that big of a difference there either. Now, out back, again, the CX-50's design is fantastic. It looks really, really strong, really, really muscular, and I think it looks great. Out back, again, we do get a powered rear tailgate, of course, which is a fantastic feature. Though cargo space inside the CX-50, as we've talked about before, is not class leading. Now, something like a Subaru Forester, or of course a Subaru Outback, is actually going to have more cargo space. I think that's because this just isn't as wide as those vehicles are. Underneath here, you are getting a spare tire, though. Not a full-size spare, but you are getting a spare tire underneath there, which is nice. And you will also note that this one lacks the upgraded Bose speaker system. So we have a base speaker system in this $42,000 CX-50 Meridian Edition, and it's really not that good, I'm not going to lie. I do like the upgraded premium Bose system, but again, you have to upgrade to the Premium Plus package in order to get that feature. Nonetheless, CX-50 looks fantastic, definitely a more premium offering than something like a Subaru Forester Wilderness or a Subaru Outback Wilderness, though it's definitely lacking in those off-road goodies that you may be wanting. Though, if you want something a little bit more of a soft off-roader that just comes with those tires and wheels from the factory, you like the little hood graphic, this is going to be the car for you. Now let's go take a tour on the interior a little bit before we finish up on this exterior. I'll show you guys what's going on in there, because nothing's different than other CX-50s, though it's kind of a blend of two different packages. So let's go take a tour of that right now. Okay guys, so getting in a CX-50 is easy. You do have keyless access systems. You can just open up the door like that and open it, and you can also close the doors by pressing this button. So I really love that feature. Now, the interior of the CX-50 is actually just the interior of the Turbo Premium Plus package. So in here, we're getting this beautiful terracotta leather interior, which is really, really nice looking. Perforated, and we do get this really cool stitching in the center console. Some people have noted this does feel uncomfortable when they're sitting on it, though it does look really nice. And that stitching does continue over onto the dash as well as on the door panel. So it is a more premium space in here for sure. We also get that nice terracotta color leather on the side door panels as well. And then coming into the back seats over here, again, we're going to find that terracotta leather, though this upper panel is hard, cheap plastic, unfortunately. Nonetheless, you do have a lot of space back here. So let's hop in and check this out. Inside the CX-50, really solid thunk from the doors closing. And one thing about the CX-50's interior is that it's very, very, very quiet. Mazda's done a great job of canceling out exterior noise, so they have done a really good job on that. And you are going to get a lot of legroom over here, thanks to these kind of like wide underneath of the seats opening. You also have these big cutouts in the seats over here, though you're not going to find a little storage cubby. Unfortunately, that will only be found in the passenger side seats over there, though I do appreciate the lots of legroom over here. Back here, you don't get heated seats, though you do get two USB-A outlets, no C, and you do have two air vents, which is nice. And again, these are the same premium material terracotta seats that you're going to get on the front. So we have this nice stitching. They are perforated, though I have noticed in this tester they're actually tearing down here. This only has 5,000 miles on it, so I don't know if this is a pre-production unit model before the mass market ones, which are on sale right now. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but I have noticed that. We do have a center console over here with two cup holders, which is really nice. Even the fabric is terracotta color, which is really cool. And again, these seats do fold down for additional storage back here. Though I will say it does feel a little bit more cramped than, I guess, comparable Subaru Forester or Subaru Outback Wilderness. These windows are a little bit shorter, though the visibility is okay. And you are doing pretty good back here since you have this panoramic roof. This is currently the only Mazda model sold with panoramic roof. The new CX-90 will now have this, though. This is one of the first models to have it, and it does really open up the rear of the cabin, and that does help loads with headroom. You actually still have a lot of headroom actually over here, so it is a pretty nice place to be back here. I don't dislike it at all, though. We're going to talk about the things that you're not going to be getting on this Meridian Edition, because there actually is a lot of stuff that unfortunately is being left out that the Turbo Premium Plus package does get. So let's hop up front and I'll show you guys what's going on up there. Okay guys, going back up front in the CX-50, one major thing that this thing does not have, I believe the Apex package might add it in, is at least this tester does not come with all weather floor mats. And I purposely did not clean these because this carpet gets really dirty really quickly, and it's really annoying and hard to clean unless you had all weather floor mats. Everything would just be on it. You can just dump it out. Sometimes you're gonna have to vacuum this, gonna have to clean it. And for an off-road focused model, this is not good to have as standard. So I wish there were all weather formats came standard, but unfortunately we don't have that here. Again, nothing really happening over here, no kind of unique badges or anything like you're gonna get on like a wilderness model from Subaru. We do have CX-50 badging over here, and again, those same terracotta seats that we just saw up front, they're fully powered for the driver, and you have some lumbar support as well. So let's hop inside. And again, super nice solid sound of the doors. Windows as well, automatic, which is really fantastic. And I love Mazda's interior design and switchgear and everything. We've gone over this many, many times. It does feel more premium in here than something like a Subaru or a Toyota or some of the other competition in this segment. So if you're really wanting that, you're gonna have to go with the Mazdas, hands down. It is one of the nicer interiors. Now, like I said, these seats are perforated and they are heated in this Meridian Edition, though you are lacking the cooled options you can get in the Turbo Premium Plus. Again, also you're lacking those front and 360 cameras. So we do have a backup camera, though it's really, really tiny. It is high resolution, but it's really tiny. And you also don't have parking sensors, there's a lot of weird features that are not included here that I really do think Mazda should have put in. You're also lacking a wireless charger, so you do have this rubberized little mat up here, which actually feels really nice, good for storing stuff. Two big cup holders up front over here. I like how they place them up front and not behind the gear shifter, so you can kind of rest your arm. Really love this kind of fan style center console armrest. Sounds really good, feels premium, and it's nice and padded as well in this nice terracotta colored leather. We have Mazda's signature center console. I don't like all the gloss black plastic, I always say this, but I am a fan of their infotainment system and the controls. It's really simple and easy to use. I never have any complaints with it or any issues with it at all. So if you want to see this more in depth, check out my full review on the CX-50 Premium that we did earlier last year. Again, this is a huge, nice big screen over here. Mazda's one of their larger screens right now. And when you're operating in Apple CarPlay and Android Auto mode, it does operate as a touchscreen, which is really nice. Though in Mazda's regular infotainment system, you do have to use the scroll wheel, which is really easy because the system is very simple to navigate. So that's never really a big issue, thankfully. And again, the design of the CX-50 is meant to kind of accentuate the long dashboard. So we have that really nice stitching over here, which you really do feel it's nice. And this kind of leather material, and the rest is all soft touch injection molded plastic, as you find in most vehicles in this segment. Nothing too crazy there. And again, that nice panoramic roof really does help to open the cabin, and you do have a shade that can close it if you want to kind of cancel out some of the light, so that's really nice as well. Up front over here, again, nothing too different. We have Mazda's beautiful steering wheel, which I always love and always rave about. Love the thinness, but also the nice grips around them. They feel really nice. Stitching feels nice. The leather feels nice, but there is no heated option. Like for almost $42,000, no heated steering wheel. Come on, Mazda, that's a little silly that you have to upgrade to the Premium Plus to even get that in the feature. So that's really, really, really weird. And you also don't get a lot of active safety features. All you have is your radar guided cruise control that you can adjust with your following distance, and that's it. We have blind spot monitoring, yes. We have lane alert, but we don't have lane keep assist. So the lane keep assist will add like a little steering wheel button right here, and that will actually kind of like more bump you in and out of the lanes. It's not the best system on the market, but it's really weird that they don't offer it. Meanwhile, in Subarus, for example, they come with their full eyesight safety suite as standard, and most of their models actually with the lane keep assist, lane departure warning, the radar cruise control with following distance, and all those other safety features. So that's a really huge miss, I think, from Mazda not including that in this vehicle as well. Again, it's a weird packaging, so I'm not sure what they were doing with this, but I think they're gonna have to reconsider this if they're gonna do better in this segment for this particular kind of mild off-road vehicle. Over here, again, we see our speaker grills, and then we don't have the Bose speakers in the system. This is the base audio system, and I have to say, it's not my favorite system on the market. It's not bad by any means for a base system, though. I've been so surrounded by that Bose system, it really is worth the upgrade, actually. And these little tweeters on the sides don't really seem to be well integrated too well. And remember, this is the first Mazda built in the US, so I'm wondering if that's kind of having some impact on a little bit of quality for the CX-50s, because it's definitely not on par with the Japanese built Mazdas that I have experienced in the past. Nonetheless, though, their switchgear is really fantastic and does feel more high-end than you're going to find in some other models. And I will say in here, like the substantialness of like the panels and everything, and the solidity, everything does feel more premium and more of a substantial vehicle than you're going to find in like a Subaru, for example. Just service interval due coming soon. Again, we have our multifunction center display here, as you can cycle through information, your speed gauge, and a little bit of some more multifunction displays in the center. But again, nothing too crazy here. Analog tachometer, analog heated and cool, hot and cold for your engine, and your fuel gauge as well. So nothing too crazy going on there. We do have a drive mode selector down here, so Mazda's MI Drive for their all-wheel drive system, and this is actually really cool. So we have sport mode, and I really do love Mazda's sport modes. They actually kind of increase the revs to give it holds gears longer, and it kind of pumps in a little bit of fake turbo sounds, but that engine actually sounds really good on its own, so that's not really needed, and it actually works really well if you want to drive a little bit more spiritedly. We have normal mode, and then we have an off-road mode. Now, all this mode really does is kind of lock the four-wheel drive system into 50-50 split, so that's really nice, but that's pretty much all you're getting with this off-road system. Meanwhile, in something like Subaru's X-Drive, on their wilderness models, you get a whole bunch of different modes for snow, for mud and rocks and different things, and of course you're getting that camera that'll help with that too. So and off-road pages. I can't forget the off-road pages that other vehicles will offer in these kind of mild off-road trims. So Mazda, I don't know what you guys are doing here for this Meridian Edition, but not too much stuff you're getting. We also have a traction control off button as well, and to turn off auto stop start is a button for that as well. And we do have memory seats and a memory control for your rear tailgate as well, but again, nothing too crazy happening on here. And if you really are kind of on an off-road focused model, of course, we are missing those all-weather floor mats, which I really do think is a necessity for an off-road focused model. But I'm not sure if these seats really scream off-roady to me either. They're more of their Mazda's premium seat finish, and I'm not sure if I'd want something more like maybe a more weather-resistant material, and especially with the perforations. Like if you spill stuff, you're gonna get it in here dirty. It's gonna get caught in here and get all gross. So an option maybe like Subaru's StarTex material. I know I keep mentioning Subaru, but they're doing their wilderness models really, really well in this segment. They're offering this kind of water repellent material on the seats that actually feels pretty premium too. And I think that might be a better option actually. So definitely if you want something that has a little bit of off-road capability, this may be a good vehicle for you, but not too much other than going on some gravel roads and trails, especially if you're just getting these tires. So again, that was a quick tour of the interior of this CX-50 Meridian Edition. Nonetheless, it's a very nice place, but if we're going to be thinking in this off-road kind of mindset, I'm not sure if this really works too well for that idea. I think we're going to take this thing on a drive now, and I'm going to show you guys the driving dynamics, especially with these tires on here, because the CX-50 is a really good driving vehicle, though these tires completely do change the driving experience a little bit more, especially with the thicker sidewalls, the more grip, and we'll see how that affects the whole experience right now. Okay guys, so we're inside the CX-50 Meridian Edition, and let's take it for a drive. Popping it into drive, we do have a manual mode as well. If you need that, you also have paddle shifters, control the 6-speed automatic gearbox. Of course, Mazda's all-wheel drive system is pretty good actually. 3 drive modes. We have sport, normal, and off-road. And we're gonna keep it in normal for a hot second. And let's take it on a drive. So guys, we have reviewed the CX-50 before actually. We reviewed a CX-50 Turbo Premium Plus, which is above this grade. And of course, you're gonna lose a little bit of these unique exterior finishes, but I think that version is better. You are getting a more road-focused tire as standard and a larger wheel, though my opinion is I would get that model. If I really want to kind of take it and the same ability that this can have off-road, is just buy a set of wheel and tires and throw it on that model. And other than that, that's pretty much what you're getting with this Meridian Edition, other than these hood decals and those little extra finished garnishes on the exterior, which don't do much for off-roading actually. Nonetheless, the CX-50 itself is a really great vehicle to drive. It's based on Mazda's small Skyactiv architecture, so we have a transverse 4-cylinder engine up front. It comes in 2 flavors, though the Meridian Edition only comes in the turbo. So we have a 2.5-liter turbocharged engine from Mazda, which we've seen a lot in my reviews. A really fantastic engine, sounds great, lots of torque. It can get up to 320 pound-feet of torque and up to 256 horsepower when you put it on premium fuel. Otherwise, we will have 227 horsepower and I think 310 pound-feet of torque if you don't put premium fuel in it. Really love Mazda's driving dynamics as well. We talked about this in the CX-50 Turbo Premium Plus. Steering is really fantastic. It may be a little heavy for your tastes, though I personally really like it. And the interior is really Lexus and like luxury vehicle levels of quiet. Mazda has done wonders with kind of making this car feel more premium than any of the other vehicles in this segment. I was just driving a Forester Wilderness, and honestly, it feels like you're in a tin can in there versus this thing. This one really does feel more substantial. It feels it has a wider road presence, more stability and kind of confidence on the road too. And I love the steering wheel. It really has a nice grip and weight to it as well. Right now we're driving in normal mode, and you can kind of hear a little bit of engine note there. Though when you put it into sport mode, I do hear a little bit of fake engine noise actually within this cabin, and you do get more revs. It does hold the revs longer. It holds gears longer, sorry, I meant to say it holds gears longer, and it gives you a little bit more oomph when you need it. I love that. And you kind of hear a little bit of a turbo whistle sometimes too when you just let off the throttle, which I think is an awesome sound. I'm gonna let you guys hear that right now. Actually really fun. Now, the big thing with this vehicle, again, like I said, are these tires, and these do really change the driving dynamics of the CX-50 a little bit more road noise with these larger off-road focused tires, and the handling I think is a little bit compromised, but not too much. Now, the big thing with this smaller vehicle platform from Mazda Okay, sorry guys, it's a little bit of fun to drive, is that it has a transverse kind of like weird leaf spring in the back instead of fully independent suspension. And I have noticed that it does ride a little bit harsh on some pavement, off pavement gravel and stuff, and it kind of feels a little bit unsettled sometimes the rear end, and I think that's the lack of the independent rear suspension a little bit. So I'm not sure how I like that too much with this vehicle, especially for like an off-road application. On the road handling though is really fantastic, and that's really what this platform and the CX-50 specifically, I think in general, was kind of just designed for, is on-road performance. So this off-road type package, really just throwing on these chunkier rubber, I'm not sure if it's doing too much for the CX-50 itself. If I really did want to take like a crossover or a unibody crossover off-road, and a package that's coming from the factory that has all these features as standard and even more, I might really just go for the Subaru Wilderness models or something from Jeep or something else. Not a Wrangler, but like a unibody crossover type vehicle. I think they just do them a little bit better, and this isn't really Mazda's forte. Mazda's forte is driving dynamics, driver engagement, and on-road, I guess, just like pleasure, and they do that really well, but I don't know if they're doing such a good job so far, and they're tipping their toes in the off-road kind of market. Maybe they'll learn a little bit from this and work on it in the future, but I'm not sure if this is a good choice personally for me if I were looking for a crossover small SUV in this segment with, I guess, off-road goodies. Nonetheless, again, we're in sport mode, and again, we do have paddle shifter control. If you want, you can pop it into full manual mode as well. Now, the brakes are a little bit soft. I think they could use a little bit more bite to the brakes, though acceleration is good. That was a second gear pull right there, so it does allow you kind of to start in higher gears if you need that. But the paddle shifters themselves work. The transmission isn't the quickest shifting thing on the planet. It's a 6-speed automatic. But like I said, even with these all-terrain tires on, it still has good driving dynamics on the road. And that power really is there when you need it too, which is fantastic. Love that about the CX-50 and really all of Mazda's newer vehicles. They really are a joy to drive. And when I truly did get into this vehicle for the first time, I honestly wasn't a big fan of it. You know, it was a little bit big, a little bit clunky. It took a little bit of time to get used to these new tires, but somehow Mazda's dynamics still prevailed at the end of the day, and I still ended up liking this, even though I would prefer the road-oriented models versus this. And as you can hear, it is still pretty quiet in here. Now, we are on smooth paved roads. I did take it on a gravel road, and hopefully in this video, if I can find another one, I'll cut it into here of how it feels on gravel. But it is a little bit louder from those tires, which is completely as expected with any sort of like larger tire with a lot more grip and a lot more tread on it. You're gonna hear more road noise, which is just normal, but I am impressed of how quiet it is still in here and how refined this whole driving experience still is with the CX-50. I do like that from Mazda, and you don't really feel that in the other vehicles. So yeah, guys, I thank you for joining me on this tour of the CX-50 Meridian Edition, especially on this POV drive as well. It's a joy to drive, and I definitely do have to say I would prefer this thing in the more road-oriented platform and the road-oriented specification versus this kind of off-road spec. Though, again, all of those are going to be up to you and how you like to drive your vehicle, so definitely go check it out in person to get a little bit more of a better feel. And again, thank you guys for joining me on this tour, and I have to say, take a moment, enjoy these views up here, guys, because it is a beautiful, beautiful day out. Everyone is out today for sure on top of this mountain. So I'm going to cut off this video now, guys, and again, thank you, cheers, have a wonderful day, and stay tuned for a lot more content coming soon from Allcarnews.